Hello and thank you for joining me here on Johnny Gets Cash 2. This is the second channel where I give you a lot more insights and in-depth to the sort of behind the scenes stuff I get up to, projects that are coming, projects that are in process, and just give you a bit more of the nitty gritty detail that we don't really go into over on the main channel. Today I'm going to be updating you on this, my mini project. Now, for those of you who've been watching the channel for a long time will remember this from ages ago. It is a project I actually started before I was even on YouTube. And so I kind of played catch up a little bit. Now, I'll start straight away by saying this project has definitely fallen by the wayside slightly, as you can probably tell. But I kind of want to go into that and explain why, and tell you what's next for the project and what will be happening and when. So, as you can see, this project mini has gone the way of many of our projects. We've all been in the same boat. I know we have. Sometimes you start something, life gets in the way, other projects come and go, day-to-day work, you know, just life. Unfortunately, that's what happened to this old mini, but it's not going to be this way forever. You will see it is still on its spit. Now, you may remember if you've watched the old videos. If not, here's the lowdown. This was a 20,000 mile, I think it was 21,000 mile car when I bought it. Automatic Mayfair, one or two owner car. I bought it so long ago I can barely remember, but basically a low owner car but with the wrong spec. What I did like about it was incredibly rust free. There was literally just a few patches to be done. And in one of the most recent videos I did of this, I say most recent, I use that loosely, I did these videos ages ago, but in one of the last videos I did of this, you saw me finishing the underside of the car while it was on this spit. I won't rotate it now because as you can see the car's full of parts. But all the welding's been done, the underside has been completely chemically treated and covered in Gravitex. So everything is solid and ready to be sprayed underneath. Now the top side, I left that in etch primer, and we all know that's not a good thing to do, but I wasn't thinking it was going to be left for very long. Silly me. Etch primer obviously holds onto moisture, and in less than ideal conditions like this, it can basically rust. So what I'm going to have to do is bare metal the car again and re-primer it. Now, I've been hearing a lot about epoxy primer, mainly from you guys in the comments, to be fair. Epoxy primer is not something I've ever worked with before, not something I'm familiar with. I guess it's kind of a little bit on the modern side, and I'm, as you know, a bit of an old school guy. So it's not something I've worked with before, but I think the plan for this should be to bare metal it again and hit it with that epoxy primer, which apparently is a much more sensible base onto bare metal. So really that's the plan. The underside is done, is protected, it's all right. There's a couple of very light spots of rust showing through, which I'll have to buzz back manually and just do the odd area. But the whole top side, engine bay, etc., that's all gonna go bare metal again, epoxy primer, and work up from that point. So that is the shell. It's solid, it's ready to go. I'll talk about the other bits and pieces that have been finished and have been sitting in the background waiting, and then I'll show you some of the bits I haven't got around to yet. Okay, so again, if you've been watching for a while, you may remember this subframe restorations. This is the ones I hung off the front of our tractor and redid, and I wanted to get these powder coated, but the local powder coating company just didn't get back to me. I guess they didn't want to know, or they were so busy they didn't need the work. Anyway, I've had to blast these, clean them up as best I can, and then they've been treated and they've got a sort of a stone chip on them. They've got the gas shocks fitted, lowering cones, etc., all new bushes. The brakes aren't new, but they were rebuilt, they were in fine shape, but essentially the subframes are ready to go. Yes, they're a little bit dusty and minging here because they've just been in the back of the workshop along with the shell, so they will need a good clean up, a few things greasing, and probably one or two of these bits, looking at them, those hubs especially, rubbing back and treating again, because I don't really want to be putting rusty parts on the car. But yeah, subframes, that was something that is a major part in my mind, and that is ready to go. Those don't need any more work. Now, doors. I never did do anything about the doors. When I got this car, typically being a Mini, the doors were rusty. Now, this one you can see, I buzzed back, welded a new bottom panel in. I don't think I did a particularly good job, because you can see how much filler I've had to use to try and make that welding repair sort of match with the rest of the door. So what I've decided is these doors are junk, unfortunately. Now, I think I read about a company, I just gutted, I can't remember their name right now, but I think I read about a company who do a door exchange system on Minis. So you send them your old rusty knackered doors, they reskin them, sort them out and sell them on. And then obviously as part of that process, they will sell you a set of secondhand but reskinned doors. I think that's probably the route I'm gonna have to go down with this. If any of you guys know a company that do that, or you know the company I'm referring to, drop a comment and let me know who they are, because I'd love to speak to them about getting a proper set of doors for this shell. Otherwise, my other option is to go a little bit crazy and go for carbon doors, or fiberglass, I suppose, but I was thinking carbon fiber. This isn't going to be sort of a big power or a particularly special spec when it's done. That sounds a little bit negative, but I don't mean it to. The end goal for this was always to be kind of a fast road spec, still A series, something like a stage 2 1275 in it. Not silly low, but lower than standard. A minimalist but functional, sporty interior. Let's call it a gentleman racer's interior. So carbon doors might be a bit of an overkill there. Anyway, I'm not going to write off any ideas at the moment, because at the moment what I've got is a set of rusty, ugly doors, and I need something. So I think it'll probably be just reskinned doors, but hey, let me know in the comments if you've got any other ideas, or you've got any contacts that might be able to help with doors, because that's definitely something I need to sort out when that shell's ready. The other thing I wanted to mention was wheels. Now, when I started this project, I had a picture in my mind of what wheels I wanted, and they're these 13x7 deep dish Superlight wheels. I think they look really cool on minis, especially when they're slightly lowered. Now, obviously they're going to sit quite wide. I have got a replica sport pack kit for this car. Now, when I bought that was 100% the look I was going for. Sport pack arches, big fat wheels, deep dish, and I think I still will go down that route. I do keep seeing pictures of minis with smaller wheels and more sensible arches, and I think they're looking, maybe because I'm getting older, but I think they look really, really cool. However, I think I'll stick to plan A at the moment. The 13x7 deep dish, sport pack replica kit, slightly low. That's kind of the look. Now, in terms of the finish of the car, I know we're a very long way away from that at the moment, clearly, but the plan was always to go with a nice vibrant red. I don't know what red yet. I quite like Porsche Guards red, but a nice vibrant red on the body, and quite predictably either a black or a white roof, although that is still up for debate at the moment. The car was red originally. You won't notice if you're new to the channel, but if you are an original viewer, I've probably explained this and shown pictures of it, but I think from standard, I don't know what the actual colour code is, but it's like a metallic Rioja / cherry red, really nice colour. But when I bought this car, it had been resprayed. And when I say resprayed, someone had literally hand painted a solid red paint over it, and it was atrocious. But what they'd done, they'd sort of half keyed up the body panels underneath. And when I say keyed up, I mean taking an angle grinder to them. So it was horrendous all the way around. So the paint had to come off fully. It had to be a bare metal. The reason I mention that, this car is registered as a red car originally because of that sort of metallic cherry red colour it was. Now, I don't really want to re-register the colour, because I always think when a car's had a colour change officially, it can have negative connotations. Plus, I quite like red cars, so keeping it red. But if you've got any ideas of what shade of red to go for, or more importantly, what two-tone to go for, because I could go red with black arches, black roof, that would look quite cool. I know it's been done quite a lot though. I'm really just looking for suggestions here. But that's, at the moment, the plan for the look of the car. You've seen the wheels, I've told you about the arches, subframes are good. Now, I do have the engine. I've got the original automatic engine 998 around the back there. I won't bother showing it to you because it's the most uninspiring engine they gave. But I have bought a 1275 stage 2 engine for this. I bought that a long, long time ago from a guy miles away. I had to take the Hilux. I think I was on the road for like 2 or 3 hours getting that engine. And also, I thought A-series engines were really cheap. I thought they were easy to get hold of and they were cheap. Even though I bought this thing ages ago, it was really expensive, I thought, for an A-series, but it doesn't matter, I've got it now. When that's ready to go in, I'm still going to get the engine gone through properly and make sure it doesn't need anything, just so it's in the best fettle it can be before it goes in. And really, at the moment, I think that kind of brings us up to speed. So there we have it, guys. That is where the Mini has been all this time, in the back of the workshop. I haven't even really covered it over, it's just been covered in junk, but so you may have seen it. But yeah, I haven't forgotten about it, I haven't given up on it, but it's very much fallen to the bottom end of my priorities list. To tell you the truth, it's completely my own fault. After starting this project, I did what car guys should never do. I bought another project before finishing this one, and rather than having the self-control to leave that other project until this is finished, I jumped into that. Now, that wouldn't normally be a problem, but if you're a viewer of the main channel, that project was the Daihatsu 4Trac, which was possibly the rustiest vehicle I've ever dealt with, and I've dealt with literally hundreds of Japanese vehicles, especially 4x4s over the years, many of which are incredibly rusty, but that 4Trac in particular, I don't know what was wrong with me. I should have just walked away from it, but I decided to try and save it. Anyway, that was the project that jumped in front of this one in the queue. Massive, massive, massive job. So much more work than I thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, coupled with the fact that I'm as stubborn as I am, I wouldn't give up on it. I decided that was going to go back on the road and be the best 4-track in the UK. Stupid really, but that's what I've done. So this has been bumped right down the list. Side note, that 4-track is at a stage now where it's really coming together. So hopefully that'll be done this year, and then the poor old Mini can come back into the workshop and be looked at again. But yeah, this is where we are. I basically need to redo a lot of the work I've already done because it's been left to go rusty, but all the hard stuff's and all the welding is done. It's just basically a case of repainting it and bolting it all back together. Now that sounds really easy when you say it quickly, and I'm sure a lot of you watching this will know it's not that easy, but that's where we are. I wanted to update you. Some of you have asked about it. A lot of you are new and don't even know about the Mini project. If you are, go to the main channel, go way back down on the list, and you'll see the videos I did on this, and I'm talking this years ago. But yeah, she's still here. It will get finished, and you will see on the main channel, I expect, when I eventually do another video on this. But for you guys here on the second channel, this is a really one-to-one explainer. So thank you ever so much for joining me once again. If you're not already subscribed to this second channel and you didn't find this too boring and tedious, and you want to find out more behind the scenes sort of stuff, drop a subscribe on this channel. As always, let me know in the comments what you think, or in this case, what I should do with the car, because I need to get some inspiration back. I really do look forward to hearing from you guys. I try to respond to everyone, as you know. And hopefully it won't be too long before you see me back on this thing. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.